Hello, and welcome to the Little League California District 49 Educational Video Series. This is series number 1, in which we talk about the proper use of pool players during regular season play. Pool players is a very unique option that Little League Baseball International gives to local leagues who might have problems trying to field a team for a regular scheduled game. So let's take a look at a common situation that occurs that would require us to use pool players. Let's say you have a regular season team of 12 players. Unfortunately, through the season, 2 of those players become injured, leaving you with 10. And during your regularly scheduled game on Saturday, 2 of those players will be out of town. Unfortunately, with this situation, this leaves you with 8 players on your team for Saturday's big game. With the pool player rules, Little League allows you to use players from other teams to make sure that you have enough players to have a legally scheduled game. Now, if you ever run into this situation, it's very easy to obtain pool players. Now, there is a proper way of going about this, and this is what this video is here to explain. Before the season, the local league will have needed to have outlined the player pool regulations to the managers and coaches. During the registration period, the player agent of the league should create a list of pool players that would be interested in participating during the season. Registration is the easiest time to ask these players if they would be interested in participating as a pool player during the season. It is important to know, as a league official and as a manager, that players should never be borrowed from an opponent. This is a misinterpretation of Little League rules, and should a player become injured, Little League insurance will not cover them during that play. After registration, the player agent then randomizes the list and holds on to it and will use that list when a pool player is requested during the season. Now that the list of possible pool players has been established, what do we do when we find out that we only have 8 players showing up for a game? Well, the manager should contact the player agent if they feel there's a need for a pool player. So in the situation we gave at the beginning of the video, there's a need. The manager would contact the local league's player agent and let them know that they'll only have 8 players for the game and that they're in need of a pool player. Under no circumstances is the manager allowed to randomly pick players from the player pool. In fact, the manager should have no knowledge of what players are in that player pool. The player agent will call the first player on the list. If that player is not available, then the player agent will move down to the next name that had been randomized on the list of pool players. The next time a pool player is needed, the player agent will pick up from where they left off. Under no circumstances do they go back up to the top of the list unless they've exhausted all of the players previously. It is extremely important to know that the manager of the team should never contact a parent or player of a pool player prior to the game starting. In fact, the manager is not even going to contact the player to let him know that they'll be used as a pool player. This is the job of the player agent. Once you're at the game site, pool players will continue to wear their regular season team uniform. They will not wear the uniform of the team that they're playing with. According to Little League rules, they are not allowed to pitch during the game at all. Also, let's say, for instance, you were expecting 8 players to show up for a game, and one player who said he would be out of town shows up. If a pool player arrives, you must play that pool player mandatory play requirements that are stricter than regular season play requirements. The rule states that each pool player must bat at least once and must play 9 consecutive defensive outs. This means pool players must play 3 defensive innings before they can be removed. If you are a team that will be interleaguing with District 49 leagues during the regular season, there is a special interleague guideline that deals with pool players. Due to travel, leagues can use pool players to ensure that a team of 10 players can be fielded. As with all pool players, all guidelines will stay the same during interleague play. It's just that we'll allow you to pick up a 10th pool player if needed. This is to ensure that if there's any accidents or if a car becomes disabled during travel, that the team will have enough players at the game site to play a regulation game. We thank you for joining us today on this pool player instructional video. For more information, please visit our website at www.ca49.org. Also, be sure to check out our YouTube page to view other videos in this educational series.